Hello everyone, hope everybody's had a wonderful end of year. This is the first time in 2024 that I'm filming. It is currently the 20th of January. And as usual, I've got a lot of things to talk about today, and I will start filming. How many fragrances I can do in one sitting, I don't know. But for the first video, I want to talk about a fragrance that I've been prolonging for quite some time. It is about Amouage Gold, Gold Man from the house of Amouage, which is my favorite scent from the house of Amouage. Now, how many times can I say Amouage more? Now, I am talking about Amouage Gold now because I kind of started realizing a few, maybe months ago, that my choices and the way I perceive fragrances have gradually changed over the years. And it is, I don't know if it's the end of the change. I don't know if it's culminated into this. However, I appreciate balance in a fragrance a lot more than I did at the beginning of this, journey of discovering fragrances and discovering smells and discovering what everything is all about. Now, I don't know, I am pretty sure I'm not at the end of this journey. I'm pretty sure this will never be set in stone. However, the fact that I am moving away, I started moving away, I think, when COVID hit. I started moving away from a very powerful, very potent, very, attention-stealing scents in a bad way to appreciate kind of the balance in a scent. Now, this is not going to be a video explaining what I understand by balance in a scent. I don't think I'll ever do a video on that. I'll just tell you tidbits as I move along and as I talk about fragrances that I find to be truly worth this name, which is a balanced scent. Now, Amouage Gold Man is a balanced scent. I have to tell you that all of my, well, not all of them, but the first Amouage scents that I started buying somewhere in 2018 to 2019 have been blind buys. I have been buying them off of, recommendations and videos and reviews and notes on Fragrantica. And what can I say other than, you have heard me saying that blind buys isn't, it's not the way to go. However, I find that for me, most of them, or I should say all of them, have been hits, have been good surprises, and have been wonderful scents that I kept in my collection. I haven't sold anything. I rarely sell scents. That's also a thing you should know. Now, Amouage Gold, it's funny because I remember watching, it was quite a while ago, but there was this video on YouTube. There was a guy, I don't remember the channel's name. There was a guy that said something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, and I'm sorry if I got this wrong. It's been a few years and I'm trying to remember what exactly it was that he said. It was something along the lines of, if you want to impress or attract women wearing Amouage Gold, it's a good thing because this fragrance smells so powdery. It reminds women of talcum powder, and thus it reminds them of babies and having babies, and they might want to have babies with you. Now, this is, if I find the video, I'm not going, I don't want to shame anybody, I'm so sorry, terribly sorry to the person, but it just, I found that to be extremely funny and along the lines of panty dropper scents, whatever that means. Now, I'm sure we all know what that means. It's about fragrance bro culture. It's about, big, strong fragrances that, fill a room and compete successfully with other fragrances, such as, and if a pretender is wearing another fragrance, that fragrance and the pretender will be annihilated. I have certainly moved away from those type of fragrances. I don't know if I've ever been into that type of thing. I've never appreciated a fragrance solely for its ability, to mute everything else, to annoy the senses and to overpower everything else. However, Amouage Gold Man is still a very powerful scent, but in a good way, in a balanced way, and in a way that if you wear only a few, puffs of it, 2, maybe 3 maximum, you can still have a very balanced and good and warm experience. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the fragrance. Now, this is the first pair of fragrances that Amouage have launched in 1983. I had to look that up because I remember 1985 for some reason. And I'm talking about Amouage Gold Woman and Amouage Gold Man. Now, I should say this just as because it was supposed to be still part of the introduction. In time, I also moved away from Amouage because I'm a bit disenchanted with what's going on there. I do believe there has been a certain drop, not in quality, but in creativity at the house. And certainly the fact that they are launching so many fragrances nowadays, as opposed to the Christopher Chong era, I think it's a bit telling, and it's a bit too overwhelming for me as a fragrance consumer. I couldn't possibly keep up, and in turn my reaction is to just move away. Amouage, you do you. It's no longer about launching once every 2 years a pair of fragrances that have been so worked on. It's just about quantity now, so I moved away from that as well, which is something that's sadly going on at my other favorite house, because Amouage used to be one of my favorite houses ever, which is Guerlain, my other favorite house. They have been doing exactly the same thing. Lots of launches, drop in creativity. It is what it is. I've said this hundreds of times. Now, this fragrance is, when I first got this, so how shall I put this? This reminded me of vintage Kouros at first. And stay with me, because it's still, those elements are still there. Because this is a monument of complexity. This is a terribly complex fragrance. Kouros, vintage or otherwise, is one of my favorite scents ever, because it's the best way, I think, the best use of dirty musks in a mainstream fragrance. And I say mainstream because when Kouros was being produced and marketed, there was no, I think, there was no talk of niche perfumery. There was no talk of luxury scents, you know, as far as I know. But Kouros, when it launched, it just impressed by the sheer audacity of the, you know, the dirtiness, the explicitness of the fragrance. That fragrance is very explicitly raunchy. And Amouage Gold Man does have those hints, does have those raunchy hints in its musks, and they are very obvious in the start of the fragrance. Oh, I should definitely spray this. In the start of the fragrance and in its dry down, in its driest stages. And it smells, you know, animalic. It smells dirty. It smells pissy, lavatory experience, you know, but in a very, very high-end way. Now stay with me. This fragrance has so many aspects. I focused on what hit me first when I first smelled this fragrance. It made me interested in the fragrance, and for some of you, it might be definitely a put off. You know, I know this fragrance isn't the most loved fragrance of the house. I still think Interlude. I think Black Iris by now should be their bestseller. You know why. But definitely this one, Goldman, is the most, you know, exquisite smelling and complex of it all. So another aspect of Amouage Goldman is it's a chypre, you know, very textbook chypre actually. It starts very aldehydic. It starts not so much citrusy, but very creamy aldehydic on top. It has a floral heart, that is its architecture, a floral heart, and a resinous base, because it is an amouage, and I think Goldman sort of, you can read Goldman and Gold, Amouage Gold in general, as a manifesto of the house. It is the first, you know, pair of fragrances that they launched with. Because all subsequent Amouage fragrances, and indeed the House of Amouage, what makes the House of Amouage special, what made the House of Amouage special was its use of resins, you know, because Oman is famous for its resins. And indeed, this architecture, this chypre architecture I told you about, is part of what makes this fragrance so complex. Amouage Goldman is a perfect fragrance for many things, from many points of view. It is a very beautiful white floral. It is a very beautiful aldehydic, musky, dirty type of scent. It is a beautiful resinous scent. This has one of the most beautiful olibanum dry downs. It's pure church incense in its dry down, and you are surprised, or at least I am, when I first experienced that dry down, as to how rich that dry down can be, and how unexpected, because it doesn't start in that manner, not at all. You can't tell. Well, I can tell it now because I know it's there, but you cannot tell from the very beginning that this has such a huge dose of olibanum in it. It is just, this contributes to the luxury, you know, the the luxurious experience that this fragrance is. You know, it's not called Goldman for no reason. That's the short of it, right? And this has, you know, as I said, this is the most beautiful white floral that I think I own. Beautiful in the sense of its, you know, it's not overt white floral. And when I say white floral, I mean jasmine and lily of the valley. And we will talk about this more a bit later. I describe it this way because, again, the surprise, you're not expecting this when you're smelling this. When you're first smelling this, and when you're wearing it, you're not expecting this to become such a potent, powdery, deafening almost white floral for, you know, some hours of its journey. It's amazing, really. Now, I think it's time now that we talked about the perfumer behind this, and this is about Guy Robert. And you know, I think it's because of Guy Robert that I appreciate this fragrance a lot more, and because I understood it a lot better. And I understood it a lot better because of two other fragrances that I have done by Guy Robert as well, and let's talk about them briefly. This is Calèche Parfum. This is, you know, it's a treasure. It's a treasure of a scent. I got this some time ago. I don't remember if I wanted to tell you details on the bottle, on the you know, year of the bottle. I couldn't because I don't remember at right now. Maybe I'll be able to look. I do remember filming this. I don't remember if I filmed this in English. Probably not. So it's a good thing I'm doing this today. This is Calèche d'Hermes, a fragrance that was you know, launched in the 60s. And also I've got Équipage d'Hermes, which I think is a 70s fragrance. Let me check briefly. Let me briefly check. This was launched in, where are you? In 1970. Yes, I remember correctly. Done by Guy Robert as well. And this is the first male marketed scent from the house of Hermes, which is, you know, that's grand. That's a grand thing. So this is why I say Guy Robert has done a lot of firsts. You know, Guy Robert is a wonderful perfumer. And when I got Calèche, I knew about the, you know, the rumors. I knew it was, oh, I got the wrong blotters for Calèche. Oh no, because I couldn't possibly fit this one inside. Let me just pause the video and get the right type of blotters. There are so many things to talk about and to say with regards to Amouage Gold and, you know, Calèche and Équipage. I wouldn't possibly be able to remember all of them. However, I do want to briefly mention Amouage Gold Woman because I smelled it, but I don't have it. It's a beautiful scent. That one reminds me even more of a chypre in the realm of Mitsuko. It's a bit more fruity, and because Amouage Gold also reminds me a bit of Mitsuko because it's a floral aldehyde, you know, it's an aldehydic scent, and it's a chypre, and of course it has to remind you at least a bit of Mitsuko. And it's not the type of green chypre. It's not very it's not terribly oak mossy, you know. It's more lightly delicate, um, floral, warm, and balmy type of chypre. Now, this is, of course, very interesting when you factor in that, you know, these types, because Gold Woman and Gold Man are kind of similar, but I'm not an expert in Gold Woman because I don't have it, and I don't want to talk about a fragrance that I do not know all that well. I do not own, I do not wear it, so I don't know it. I wish I could get it, but alas, Amouage fragrances are so expensive, so I couldn't possibly justify having both of them. Well, not yet anyway. So back to Gold Man just briefly, because I still want to talk about Calèche. Imagine that this fragrance is marketed as a male, you know, it's a male marketed scent, and it's got all these elements in common with Calèche d'Hermes. Now, how's that for a transition? Now, these aren't the correct type of blotters also, but you know, I can make do with them, I think, because I really want to remind myself of Calèche. This is a fragrance that I treasure, because first of all, look how beautiful this Parfum edition is. This small bottle, I think it's a 20 milliliter, I'm not sure, it might be a 30, I don't know if it says anywhere. It's a 30 milliliter fragrance, and this, I have to say this also, as beautiful and as glad I am I have this, I can't wear this. This belongs in a museum somewhere. I can't wear this. I'm sorry. This is why I'd never, well, not never, but I rarely go for vintage scents. I like to wear a scent. I like to, look at this dent. I like to have a scent I can wear, that I know it's still in production, and that I don't apply, you know, sparingly because it's a scent that is no longer being produced. Now, keep in mind, Calèche is still being produced. I don't know about the current formulation. I've been saying this for years, that I've wanted to smell a Calèche, a current Calèche, but I haven't been able to. So, back to this scent. This is a woody, floral-ish aldehydic. And all Hermes fragrances do have a touch of suede in them. This is exquisite. This is such a beautiful scent. I mean, this is the understatement of the whatever. It's such an understatement. This is a beautiful, beautiful scent that I wish I had a gallon of. However, you can definitely tell the nose behind Calèche and Amouage Gold Man are one and the same, and you can definitely tell that the fragrances are very, very similar, because they sort of have the same, you know, architecture, sort of, you know, aldehydes on top, a floral heart, and ambers. You know, this one is a bit sweeter. It's a bit sweeter into the realm of myrrh, sweet myrrh, a bit more ambery, a touch of vanilla more than Amouage Gold Man, and it's not as powdery, it's woodier. And rosier, just a tiny bit. It is a bit more, you know, it's a lot more delicate than Amouage Gold Man, that's for sure. Albeit Amouage Gold Man is a very delicate scent in terms of, you know, craftsmanship. And let's talk about the floral heart. Guy Robert, this is what I love about Guy Robert. No matter the composition, albeit his fragrances are sort of in the same ballpark, you know, they're aldehydic, floral aldehydes. That was the you know, that was the trend, I think, and it's a good trend. You know, it starts with Chanel No. 5 and it continues with Calèche, and it's a good thing that it does that. And the floral heart is jasmine and lily of the valley, which is beautiful. The lily of the valley is just so beautiful. It's so well hidden. It's not a muguet type of scent, you know. It's not the lily of the valley. Doesn't steal the attention, at least in Calèche it doesn't. But in Amouage Gold, man, it's so obviously a lily of the valley scent that it's, you know, it's so difficult to believe the audacity in marketing Amouage Gold man towards men, you know. But as I said with vintage Kuros, it's about, you know, guts. It's about courage. And it works so well, because there is no such thing as, you know, gender in fragrances. Fragrances are genderless, and I do believe this 100%. And you know, the best example I have for this is Amouage Gold Man and Calèche d'Hermes, which is a fragrance marketed towards women. And they are very, very, very similar. All right, now let's briefly speak of Équipage d'Hermes. Now, Équipage is a fragrance I so rarely wear. I don't know why, but I so rarely reach for this. This is, again, an aldehydic fragrance that's greener, fresher, spicier, you know, more energetic, more, you know, into the realm of male sort of fougere types of scents. It is heavily nutmeg. It's beautifully woody. You know, it's woody spicy. But again, that touch of suede is still there, as in most Hermes fragrances, which is, you know, and I do have to say this about Calèche and Équipage, and another fragrance I want to film today. I shouldn't mention it. All right, it's Amazon. The equestrial, you know, the horse element is so beautiful. You know, it's outdoorsy, it's energetic, it's bit animalic, a bit leathery, but then again noble and delicate and very, very exquisitely elegant. So again, in this very vegetal and dry herbal type of scent that is Équipage d'Hermes, in the very heart, besides, you know, the vetiver and the oak moss and everything, in the heart there is still that lily of the valley. You can just imagine, you know, pulling the leaves apart and just getting to smell that beautiful, fresh, lush, and very delicate lily of the valley scent. It is, Équipage d'Hermes is so painfully underrated as a scent. It is beautiful, beautiful. And it is the same hand, Guy Robert, that made Amouage Gold Man. And now, is there, you know, anything else I could tell you about Amouage Gold Man? Because this video is already, I think, very, very long. As I said earlier, this is a fragrance that I love because it's so good. It's best at so many things. It's best at being aldehydic. It's best at being dirty. It's best at being sexy, at being powdery. It's one of my most favorite powdery scents, together with L'Heure Bleue by Guerlain. It's so good at being a chypre. It's so good at being an incense scent. It's, as opposed to so many, especially current scents from the house of Amouage, this one is actually worth the price tag, right? And that's saying quite a lot. Now, if you've got any other questions about any fragrances we've spoken about today, do let me know in the comments. And until next time, remember, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.